Hey guys, Deslater Magic here, just with a quick video with an update that Wizards announced today, I believe it was actually. Yep, it was Gavin Verhey, everybody's favorite ultra cringy writer. Seriously, read one of his articles one time. It's quite the experience. I don't personally care for his writing style. But unfortunately, I did read the entire article, and I'm just going to condense it down because, it's a lot of fluff, but not really. Whenever, Wizards has made a change to something lately, they will back it up with facts and evidence and reasoning, which I can appreciate that. They're very commonly wrong, but I can appreciate it. It's a heck of a lot better than just, we're doing this. Here's one sentence on why. Deal with it. Bye. So, the overall tone from Gavin here is that Brawl is a huge success, and then he, contradicts all of the, marketing fluff, which I guess I can appreciate that, too. For example, he says Brawl is doing great because he personally went to the Grand Prix and saw a couple casual games being played, but then, a couple paragraphs down, he says something to the effect of, let's not use my random personal anecdotes to support this. That can be misleading. Let's take a look at the actual data. Yeah, it's almost like you shouldn't have stated that as evidence that it's working. The community as a whole is not GP attendees, okay? Anyway, they go on to say, recent poll about Dominaria, 20% are playing Brawl, but, what does playing Brawl mean? Does it mean they played once, they have a deck? I mean, it really could mean anything. I'm not convinced it's as popular as they say it is, although I do like it. But I also kind of agree with them on this article that it needs some help. But their narrative with this one is that it was like a beta test. It was just a test with Dominaria. So one, they didn't have any formal events planned because they didn't know if it would catch on. They didn't want to throw a bad event and have that be people's, first impression. So they did assure us that official Brawl events are coming up. So expect probably something like game day. They said they're getting prize support together and that kind of stuff, but they didn't want to spoil it for now. So that's kind of cool, I guess. They did admit, though, that some people on social media, which is where they get all of their feedback, well, that and their survey, which is promoted on social media. Hey, Wizards, the people who follow you on social media are just fanboys who will kiss your ass and are not representative of the rest of the community. Find a way to get their actual reaction, okay? Take a real, public random survey. In fact, you want to get the real story about what you need to fix? Poll people who say they quit Magic within the last year. But that's more about Magic in general. Let's talk about Brawl, because that's what this article is about. Well, they said they didn't want to fracture or fragmentize the community, the format, anything, and then they proceeded to do exactly that by changing 1v1 versus multiplayer. And that makes sense because if something backfired or went completely haywire and off the rails in multiplayer, you could blame it on the fact that it's multiplayer. I mean, if somebody just got absolutely nuked, you could say, well, what if, both players didn't attack them? It could have gone differently. But 1v1, it's if the format's broken and the decks are broken, you're going to notice it. So for the second time, they have made a change, actually two changes, to 1v1. Now, last time they changed the life total from 30 to 20 because people were just taking hits while they build up a huge card draw engine, and just mono blue or blue mix control would just dominate. So they changed it to 20 as a starting life total, and oh, surprise. Okay, what do you guys think happened? Just in your head, guess right now what happened. That's right, mono red ruined it. I mean, no joke, go read this article yourself. I'm not filling in the gaps. It says, we've seen the 1v1 Brawl metagame take a large shift towards low-curve aggressive decks, especially Mono Red, using Karizev's Skyship Raider as commander. Mono Red has been dominating Magic Online play in terms of popularity and win percentage, and we've heard similar feedback from local play groups. So, online, offline, everyone agrees, 20 life, you're just going to get red rushed. And if you think about it, 24 red cards, 16 lands? Well, you only need to come up with 24 unique cards. Actually, 23 plus 1 carries Zev as your commander. And she's a big old monkey generator. So, just throw in one of everything that could go in the standard deck, and ta-da, you've got another broken deck. I mean, Red Rush was just disastrous in the last 2 years. Or perhaps I should say building up from the last 2 years, especially Hour of Devastation. They just went way too hard on it, made it too good, too consistent, too powerful of removal. Too many creatures saying that opponents can't block. It's just, it all came together to be just too much. So because of it, and I am not joking, they're changing the life total to 25 because 5 points is going to mean the difference of life and death for red. They also said that they're going to basically reassess starting at 30 after the rotation, because control will lose, half its cards. So you go too low, fast wins. You go too high, slow wins. It's almost like standard is designed like crap right now. Who would have thought? Too much control, too much rush. They just need to tone it down and come up with a mechanic that doesn't involve either. Something creative in mid-game. They focus way too much on early threats. And I think it's because they were, especially with Hour and with Aether Revolt, targeting Modern. And Modern has to be fast. And they did shake up Modern. So, good for them. Fatal Push and all that. In fact, a lot of Amonkhet cards are in some pretty wacky stuff in Modern now. So, yeah, they changed it up. Good. Modern needed to be changed. But they ruined Standard. Whoops. Now, before I get to the part that really pisses me off, they've added one free mulligan. So 1 vs. 1 Brawl, you get 1 free mulligan. So you redraw 7, no scry, and then after that you can mull to 6 and scry 1, and then mull to 5, scry 1. Everybody loves free mulligans. I mean, it's pretty much like the rule, sort of, in, informal, casual tabletop Magic, just to be polite, because nobody likes being forced to start with either 4 or 5 cards and then still probably garbage, or just losing because they kept some absolute trash because they didn't want a mulligan, okay? Your opening hand can simply ruin the entire game, and then it's like, what's the point? So in 2 vs. 3, okay, if your deck is better, just let it backfire once and you'll win the other 2 matches, right? But in single matches, especially online on X-Mage, everybody knows I always do this, I put it on 1 free mulligan because that makes up for the fact that we're not playing 2 out of 3. If somebody has a bad opening hand and I win because of it, I didn't learn anything from that. That's not even how you test a deck. It's just stupid. I'm not playing for wins, I'm playing for information and to get better and to make my deck better. So in this context, I don't really get it, but their explanation was something about they wanted multicolor to get their crap together better. Basically, like if you're playing 3-color and like you pull all red cards and then you've got like blue and white, lands, you're going to mulligan down to something where you're going to lose anyway, Oh, and the rotation means we're about to lose a whole bunch of color fixing. So they wanted multicolor or more complex or whatever decks, however they wanted to phrase it, less consistent decks to have more of a chance of winning. Because right now it's just, stupid ape decks. I mean, just, red rush, blue control. Ooh, how creative. They also said stuff with like, more like, ramp into it, curve into it kind of decks. They wanted them to stop, failing miserably. I mean, you look at blue control, red rush, it's like, it's such a consistent, deck with just the same cards over and over and over. You could just pull anything and you're good. So if you consistently can have a better opening hand than your opponent, you're going to win a lot more. So I guess that's where they were going with this. So the way they put it was like decks with the certain density of certain types of card effects, like early stuff versus late stuff, they wanted to give them a mulligan because at least it's a creative deck. And they're more likely to need it because they've got, cards that are actually like gonna do something mid to late game. So the thing that really pisses me off from this article, and I saved this for last because it's just the best, they have said in the past, just to establish why I'm so angry about this, that standard is designed for standard. When they design a standard card or a standard set or standard mechanic, they design it for standard, okay? Constructed and draft. And I guess the pre-release. That's it. They have stated, word for word, this is our product, this is what we sell, this is what we design. So they said, it was in the context of Modern and why the Eldrazi ruined Modern. They said, we don't design cards for standard and then say, okay, what will this do to Commander? What will this do to Modern? And then, like second guess it. That was proven to be partially, if not mostly, wrong because another one of their staff members leaked the exact opposite in a future statement. The statement was actually about the Eldrazi. They said, we knew that this would be a problem in Modern, but we did it anyway. But that was kind of the same thing. They said, we designed for Standard. We're not going to cripple Standard and put less creative cards in it just for Modern. So it does all fit. It's just they said, we absolutely do not consider Modern when printing cards or designing cards. Oh, but we do, and we knew this would be really good in Modern. So that was a consideration and we knew about it. Well, whichever is true, I mean, stick to it. Design standard. So here's a fun little paragraph that just throws that all out the window from this article. For example, we're looking at things like making sure upcoming sets have the right spread of colored legendary creatures and planeswalkers, especially at the fall rotation, to make most color combinations playable. Ways to improve Brawl 2-color mana bases, and getting more of those big splashy effects, like sweepers, into the format. So, okay, they're going to design cards and throw them into standard specifically for Brawl. Okay, I mean, whatever, that it might be bad, it might not, right? Oh, I'm not done reading yet. As purely an example, an 8-mana multiplayer-focused board sweeper is unlikely to impact standard, but helps clean up the Brawl board. Okay, an 8-cost, unplayable in standard card, and you know that would be a rare or a mythic. You know that. Something that big, that powerful would never be in the uncommon slot. So what they are telling you is, here's an example of what we're going to do to completely waste a rare or mythic slot in the next sets. Some cards in standard will be only for Brawl. They will have no use whatsoever in standard. So if they're in your pre-release pool, you've got a dead card and you've got a 25-cent garbage card. Congratulations. If you get past that card in a draft, you basically don't get a rare. You have to pass that, and it's probably going to make it all the way around because it's a multiplayer-oriented 8-mana board sweeper. That's just so bad. And then because it's like Gavin knows where everybody's going to go with this mentally, he says, you just saw one big example of this with Elder Dragons in Core 2019. While they weren't designed to be Brawl commanders in particular, their existence is the kind of thing that, while looking over sets, we are actively seeking to include. Oh, so those 7-cost slow as hell triple color, absolutely unplayable in standard, bare minimum until rotation because they're just too damn slow. Those were put in there for Brawl, is what you're saying. I mean, they're kind of saying they weren't, but they're kind of saying they were. They said, well, we didn't design them to be Brawl commanders, but they also said this is the kind of thing that we're talking about. Okay, well, they're a complete waste of space in the mythic spot. They're not going in any of the decks I build. They're too damn slow. They're honestly not even that powerful. I'm sure they'd be lovely in Brawl, but wow, they're just not good. I don't think any of them should be above $5. I mean, Glorybringer's a better card, and that's mono. Hell, Atali's a better card than any of those dragons, and Atali is a mono-colored red 6-cost dinosaur. Seriously, people need to play with Atali more. That card is insane. So get ready for just wasted rares, garbage bulk, and it's just gonna clog up the rare and mythic slot, and it's all because of Brawl. I mean, that's stupid. If the card takes off in Brawl, I guess it could go up, but I mean, look at like Karizev and Brawl. I mean, I think Brawl was just banned as a commander, but like Karizev's not $20, okay? Brawl's not gonna drive that much more additional sales because people don't need 4 copies, they need 1, and according to their own survey, only 1 in 5 people who play standard are actually playing Brawl. That means that any additional demand for the card is just negligible. I mean, you might as well not even consider it. So that's a real shame. I mean, if you're ever wondering why there's just bulk overcosted garbage that looks like it's a good Brawl card but would never be played in the standard deck, that's why they have just admitted it. So just remember this video and remember this article. So if you want to get really pissed off, go read the rest of the article. It's on Wizards' website, posted July 9th. But that's the gist of it. Just remember, 1 free mulligan and 1 versus 1 only. It's 25 life. Multiplayer, it's still 30. And try not to get all this nonsense in the way of having fun with Brawl, because in my opinion, and honestly in Wizards' original opinion, it's supposed to be a casual format. And now that they're like, oh, people like it, let's go pro with it. Let's hold events for it. Let's hold Brawl tournaments. Let's promote it. Let's, do this. And they're going to turn it into some highly competitive crap. But in their defense, NetDeckers pretty much already did that. Instead of, oh, I'm going to build something fun. Oh, I like dinosaurs. Let's do that. Oh, I've got a lot of vampires sitting around my trade binder. I'm going to build that, which is what probably the majority of people do. There's enough people just going, okay, what's the best deck I want to win? They go on the internet, they look up the Karizev Red Rush, which, I mean, honestly, do you really need a deck list for that? It's so gimme, I would almost not even call that net decking. But Brawl, with all the control spam crap and the exact ratios and all that, it got so bad they had to ban it. So they're finally realizing that they took this fun, casual, build whatever you want format that people absolutely loved, and NetDeckers ruined it for everybody by bringing in a bunch of OP crap, and it spread like a disease on MTGO. I've heard from my own accounts it wasn't that bad in Paper Magic and had people's LGSs, but on MTGO, who cares? You don't know the people, you're not there to have fun, you're there to win. So that is a different environment, you have a different expectation, but when just 2 decks take over the entire format and nothing else can win, it's time to get out the ban hammer. And in case you didn't hear, they already did. They banned, I want to say 2 cards. It might have even been 3 so far. Spyglass, and I thought it was Brawl, and then I thought there was like another one. Whatever, I don't care. I don't play it. But by the way, if I were to play it, quick tip, just white. straight white. I mean, just, you know, basically a free mana base, although I'd put in a Shafat. Those are cool. It's got every type of removal. I mean, white has like 4 ways to remove a Planeswalker. I mean, it's got combat tricks and then just everything. Flying Vigilance, First Strike, Lifelink, Double Strike. Just throw in just white good stuff and let it snow. That's the deck I'm targeting, and honestly, my commander would probably be the Resplendent Angel from the new set. Kind of expensive. Hopefully it goes down. It won't, because it's amazing. But then just throw in, you know, maybe some board wipes, otherwise, you know, Crested. And then Embalm and Eternalize is huge in white. I mean, you can survive your own board wipe or theirs. You're going to win if they got to kill your stuff twice and everything you have is lifelink, okay? So look for that if you want a budget one. Maybe I'll make a video or 2 on it. But for now, just wanted to let everybody know about the rules change because, you know, it affects you immediately. And I will see you guys next video.